MFA has sent out over 30 job applications. No replies, no interviews, just silence. She started questioning herself. Maybe she didn't have what it takes. Maybe she wasn't good enough. But deep down, MFA believed she could. She just needed the right support. And that's when she discovered the Happy Program, an initiative designed for women like her to learn either soft skills, customer service skills, or entrepreneurship skills for free. And it doesn't end there. The Happy Program proceeds to place women aged 18 to 35 in dignified and fulfilling jobs. And just like that, MF's story changed. She went from searching to hired. If she can, so can you. Sign up today by visiting www.jobberman.com.gh/shecan or call 027 017 6662.
The Happy Program has been, I think, one of the most useful things I have come across since I started this business. My name is Nana Majidua Badodi. I'm the owner of this restaurant, Roast and Relish. Roast and Relish is a primarily grill restaurant. Our main selling point is that we're zero seasoning cube restaurant. So we don't use cube in our food. We try to go all as natural as possible and the kind of food that you can feed your whole family. That's who we are. So the problem with this industry is that the industry does have a high turnover. There are a lot of people who come in just for a while. They're trying to make a little money to go because some of the roles can be filled without extensive experience. So we ended up having people coming and going for short stays. And sometimes what happens is that maybe you have an event coming up. You need about 4 waiters to be on floor, and then you lose 1 or 2 of your waiters. And then you have to now look for an avenue to find people to replace these roles, and it definitely was a challenge for us. So the Happy Program was recommended to me by a friend, and once I got in contact with the reps from the Happy Program, they were so useful to me. The Happy Program has been, I think, one of the most useful things I have come across since I started this business. Like I said before, we do have a high turnover in the food and beverage industry. So whenever we do have a situation where somebody leaves us impromptu, I quickly reach out to the team over there, and sometimes within a day or days, I've got new names, people to interview. Sometimes within a day or 2, I had a replacement. And also I'll say that some of the positions that they have filled for me on a higher level have produced very excellent personnel who I've worked with for a very long time. Thank you to the team at the Happy Program. You know, in Ghana, a lot of times they'll tell you something is free, but it's not really free. But really, I've had them give me so many options of people, and not even one city has exchanged hands. So, I mean, it has been amazing. They've been efficient, and I'm truly excited about their projects.
Welcome to Jobberman Ghana. We are Ghana's leading tech-enabled career development and recruitment platform that connects qualified job seekers with verified employers. We are more than just a job platform. We are a partner in career growth and business success. Looking for a job? Call us. Filling vacant roles? Call us. Employee training and development? Call us. Workforce management? Call us. Call us on 054-290-4650 or visit jobberman.com.gh.
Afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for making the time to join us today. My name is Elikwimia Ayegbe, and I am the Marketing Communication Specialist for the Happy program here at Jobberman Ghana. It's been quite a journey getting here. We are talking about women empowerment, creating solutions for women, and offering real pathways for women to grow, learn, and develop in either career or entrepreneurship. So if you're excited to be here to join this conversation, to learn from our amazing panel we have lined up, kindly let me see some excitement in the comment section. Let me see you drop your favorite emojis. Let's get to know that you are excited to be here as I am today. Fantastic. Great. It's good seeing the excitement through the roof. We'd love to see that. Now, I'll just want to briefly introduce Jobberman Ghana to you, get you acquainted with the brand. So Jobberman Ghana is Ghana's leading recruitment and career development solutions in Accra, Ghana. We specialize in HR consulting, HR outsourcing, salary surveys, training, and development. Now, in our mission to bridge the skills and employability gap, we have partnered with so many notable organizations, and one of them is the MasterCard Foundation. So we're currently running the Happy program, which is in partnership with the Agri Impact Limited, to provide free skills training and career development and job placement support for young women aged 18 to 35. Now, as part of our campaign, that is the She Can campaign, we are also running this webinar to equip you with the necessary insights and information you need to either navigate career or navigate entrepreneurship. So it's good to have you all here. And like I said, I'm Amanda Elikim Ayegbe, and I am thrilled to be your host for today. Now that we know a bit of Jobberman Ghana, I would like to quickly do an icebreaker so that we prepare ourselves for the session we're about to have. Now, this session is called Building the Future You Desire. So if I were to give you, let's say, $1 million right now, drop it into your account right now, what will that do for you in building the career you desire? What would you use that money for? I'm taking responses in the comments. If I were to just give you $1 million right now, no strings attached, you're supposed to do anything you want with it. Whether you start a business, whether you want to go on vacation, whatever you want to do, what would you do with that amount of money? Taking responses in the comments now. Good to have you here, Betty. Good to have you here, Dramani. I'm so excited to see your excitement. It's also making me excited to be here. Looking forward to an impactful conversation. So, yes. Okay, so Ebenezer is saying he will invest in real estate. I mean, that's one of the booming markets here in Ghana and Africa. So it's actually a very wise decision in creating the future you desire. Investment, that's fantastic. Letty says she would go for a month-long vacation. Betty, you and I both, I think we both deserve that month-long vacation. I would also go for that. Yeah. All right. Okay, so we'll keep the comments coming in. Now that we have the icebreaker out of the way, we are a bit warmed up for our session today. I'd like to quickly introduce our wonderful panel for today's discussion. So I'm going to start in no particular order, start with Juliana Amwating. So Juliana Amwating is a distinguished beauty content creator, Bible storyteller, and operations professional whose influence spans across the beauty industry, digital evangelism, and global NGO sector.
With a growing audience of nearly 1 million followers across platforms, she has become a trusted voice in beauty, fashion, lifestyle, faith, and personal development. Juliana is known for blending her passion for faith and storytelling through engaging Bible narratives that reach both believers and seekers alike. Her content not only informs but uplifts, empowering her audience to live boldly, both spiritually and practically. Beyond content creation, Juliana brings to depth through her background in project management and organizational operations, driving strategic and impactful collaborations. Her unique blend of creativity, faith, and global insight allows her to connect with diverse audiences in meaningful ways. A dedicated professional and passionate creator, Juliana also values the beauty of balance, living purposefully while navigating career, calling, and marriage with grace. Can we all give it up? A virtual applause for Juliana Amwating, one of our panelists for today's session. Juliana, so great to have you. Thank you for honoring this invitation. All right, so I'll quickly move on to the next, Miss Mariam Majid. She's a seasoned brand strategist specializing in helping startups navigate the complex landscape of marketing and communication. Her expertise extends beyond branding to encompass broader strategies that drive business growth and success. Mariam holds a master's degree in international relations and diplomacy from GIMPA, a master's degree in brands and communication management, and a Bachelor of Arts in Public Relations from the University of Professional Studies. This robust educational foundation underpins her expertise in navigating complex strategic landscapes. As the Vice President for the Alliance for Women's Economic Development, Mariam played a key role in launching the Masterclass for Women in Business, themed Brand Right. She also served as the Vice President for the Alward Network. Her passion for women's empowerment and mindset development has driven her to mentor young women on personal branding and growth. This dedication culminated in the creation of the Awaken Your Inner Goddess training program, designed to inspire young ladies to challenge the status quo and realize their fullest potential. She has been named one of the 100 most influential women in Africa by Women Who Win, ranked Ghana's #1 among the top 200 LinkedIn influencers by Favicon, and nominated for LinkedIn Influencer of the Year 2024 by Pulse Ghana. Such an impressive background. Thank you, Ms. Majid, for deciding to honor our invitation today. A virtual applause for Ms. Majid, please. Fantastic. Now, last and definitely not the least, the male voice in this conversation, which is much needed, Richard Murphy Edro, is a program and male strategist and the gender, youth, and social inclusion lead for the MasterCard Foundation's Happy program at Jobberman Ghana. He designs and leads inclusive evidence-based programming that expands opportunity for marginalized youth, especially young women, persons with disability, and displaced populations. With deep expertise in adaptive male system, RCT-based designs, and multi-country implementation for over a decade, he transforms data into strategic insights that shape policy, donor priorities, and institutional learning across Africa. He has worked bridges in operational rigor with visionary leadership, ensuring that inclusion is not just a principle, but a measurable outcome. He's passionate about building scalable solutions, amplifying youth voices, and advancing equity through systems change. At Jobberman Ghana, he brings a bold perspective on how inclusive design and evidence can unlock leadership pathways for young women, the marginalized and minority groups across the country. Thank you. Can we invite Richard with a round of applause? Now, that is a fantastic background. I mean, our panelists are very well prepared for this conversation. So we are going to get right into it. So now I'm going to put across the first question. When we talk about building the future you desire, what comes to mind? And I'll start with Richard. What are your thoughts on building the future you especially.
Yes. So, good afternoon to the cherished audience. And so, talking straight to building a future with desire, this is more of a wake up call to make us envisage and position ourselves in the place we wish we could be, where we position ourselves. Future generations that will come after will see us and say yes, or will have a way of linking up together with us. This is what it means, straight, right? Yeah. That's all I'll say for now.
I love that thought, linking future generations to what we see now. Juliana, I would quickly like your input on that. What does creating the future you desire mean to you personally, on a personal level? Let's get into that.
Thank you very much. And hi, everyone. Thank you, Jobberman, for having me. This is very, very encouraging to everyone. And I'm so glad to be here. So, building the future you desire comes to me as identifying something you truly want to do deep down in your heart and in your mind, and having that intentionality to create the path so that that intentions guide you on the path that you have created, and eventually ultimately have the vision towards that dream you have. So personally, that is what building a future you desire comes to me as a path you are creating with intentions.
Love that. I love that idea, path you're creating with intentions. So finally, Mariam, what are your thoughts when it comes to creating the future you desire?
All right. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm really sorry that you're not seeing my face. It's rather unfortunate. But yeah, for me, creating the future I desire, it simply means that I'm taking ownership of my life and not allowing life to happen to me. Because everyone knows what they want in life. Unfortunately, some just allow life to happen. But if you really want to create the future you desire, first you need clarity. Clarity in defining what you truly want and not what society or family expect of you. And then you need to be intentional. After finding out what you want, then you need to take intentional steps and actions, making sure that everything you do or each decision you take every day is something that is going to amount to the future that you truly desire, what you're looking for. So some examples are reading good books, listening to good podcasts, having people who are growth oriented around you and all. The growth mindset is also important because if you're able to identify the future you desire, then you know that you need to work hard. You need to learn, unlearn, and adapt certain behaviors. And at the end of the day, I always believe in impact. And so you also need to find something that you are doing to make an impact. Whatever it is that you desire, make sure that you are trying to also make an impact in people's lives. So for me, this is my understanding of creating the future that I truly deserve or desire.
That's great. Such wonderful inputs from our panelists, starting with clarity, building with intention, and linking it to the future generation. These are wonderful. Now, into the comments, I can see our audience are all about taking charge of their future too, because someone just said he would invest in treasury bills. Others said he will own brands. One Priscilla says she'll start a food business. Now you can see the youth are gearing towards entrepreneurship. They're trying to balance two pathways, right? So, Juliana, as a content creator and also as a project officer, how are you balancing this traditional and non-traditional career path? Because we see a lot of people trying to enter into that space, but they are not sure how to. So, if you could give us a bit of insight into your journey so far.
Thank you very much. So my journey has been an interesting one. And I would be a hypocrite to say that, oh, it's been all roses and it's been all easy and sweet. It hasn't been easy, to be honest. I've been doing this combination for the past 5 years. And to say that it was easy would be a disservice to all of you. But then one thing that has actually kept me grounded is recognizing my strengths and learning how to manage my time, because having a corporate job, as you know, working in a global NGO, and being good at it, actually performing well at the end of the year, like yearly performance, you know, giving your 100%, and then also giving your 100% to content creation. I needed to recognize my own strengths, because when I started, one thing I really struggled was identifying what at all and when I can actually be, you know, dividing my time for my work and then also dividing my time for content creation. And so when I was able to identify those strengths, I really, really leveraged on that. And maybe somebody would ask me, how did I know this was my strength? I just, you know, with anything at all, starting is a very first step. You know, it's not like I figured everything out before I started. I just started anyway because I had the interest, I had the desire, I had the passion, I had this ultimate goal in mind. And so just starting anyway and learning on the journey. Learning on the journey taught me that I could do this at this time. It taught me that when I have this assignment from work, I could do it at this time. And then also learning, importantly, all the things that I know best with my work, the tools that are available to me, making use of the tools that are available to me at my work, and how to actually use those tools. And then also learning what is entailed in the content creation space. So with those two knowledge, I was able to see where I'm going. I was able to see how those tools can be used. I was able to see how or when I can actually even wake up to do or produce content, and then balance it alongside with my corporate. So time management was very, very important for me to keep grounded. And then also, I would say my support system, or my cycle, it became so important that I didn't have to hide what I was doing with content creation with while doing my corporate job. So at a point, I had to inform my directors, I had to inform my team members, and you know, my partner as well. And I would say that those people have actually played a vital role. So I can never stand anywhere and say, this is all by me and my God, not at all. God brought all those people in my life to help me stay grounded and be very confident to actually pursue both careers. Because interestingly, content creation is a great career that most people underestimate. And so my partner is and has always been super supportive, and my work colleagues have also been super supportive, because this is a working day. So you would ask me, oh, by 3 p.m., and 3 p.m. is not an end of the work, you right?
Yeah.
So you need permission, you need to take some days off for some important meetings concerning content creation, meeting some brands, going on television interviews. So my support system have been very, very, very supportive, and those people have been have played a vital role in making sure that I succeed at both work and then succeeding on in content creation as well. So these two, time management, discipline, and support systems, are my top benefits or bona fide properties that have really kept me grounded. And of course, I'm a Jesus babe. The Holy Spirit is always with me to, you know, guide me along the way and showing me what to do, the wisdom to apply at certain times, and giving me the strength to wake up every day to pursue my dream as well. So that is how I've been able to combine these two and staying successful at both.
That's fantastic, Juliana. Your honesty is so refreshing. And picking on that, I would move to Mariam. So, Mariam, it's quite competitive out there for entry level workers. It's competitive for people who are in middle class, top level management. How important is it to build a personal brand now, regardless of your age or your background? Now, imagine you're trying to balance, let's say, working in corporate and a non-traditional role. How important is personal branding, putting yourself out there?
Before I even answer your question, I'm just telling Miss Juliana to be expecting me in her DMs. Because I definitely need some tips. I'm also into content creation. I do a lot of things and I work a 9 to 5. And honestly, for me, I'm still trying to find my feet in balancing both. So I was really happy when you asked her that question because she said a lot, but I think I'll still need some coaching from her. So to answer your question on personal branding, we are in a digital world. And let me tell you a funny story. I started working in the corporate space in 2022. And on the day of my interview, when I entered the interview room, my my nickname was mentioned. At that time, I wasn't using Mariam Majid on Instagram. And I was surprised. How did they get to know that? This is just so you know that even before you walk into that interview room or you join that panel discussion or you meet that investor, they have already Googled you. Now, what information are you putting out there? What are they going to see about you? It's very important. So before I take any personal branding session, I ask people, have you Googled yourself before? And if yes, what are you seeing? Are you proud of what you're seeing about yourself? Now, these are some of the reasons it's important to build a personal brand because whatever you do, wherever you find yourself, people will have perceptions about you. But then when you say you want to build a personal brand, that is you being intentional about shaping the narrative. When you were introducing all three of us, there are certain things you mentioned. Why? Because we have put it out there. I have said I'm into branding. Miss Juliana has said she's into project management. And so everyone can identify us by these things that we have built our brands around. It's really important because at the end of the day, if you do not say or you do not build a personal brand for yourself, people will still have perceptions about you. And trust me, you do not want to hear what people would say about you. It's never nice. So just build a brand so that you can now control the narrative. And it also opens a lot of opportunities for you. People find you online. Most of the opportunities that come to us lately, it comes online. Why? We are looking for a brand strategist to work with. We are looking for an influencer. Okay, Mariam is into women empowerment, so let's use her for this project. It's because I came out there, I said I'm into women empowerment, and they see the work that I'm doing. So why not give her that opportunity? No matter how good you are at what you do, no one is going to see you if you do not come out to tell us that this is who you are and this is what you are good at. You can be the best of the best. You can be the first class student. You can be so eloquent, but if you do not come out and speak, how are we going to know that this is who you are and this is what you can do? And the opportunities do not wait. Opportunities do not wait. No one is going to say, okay, let me wait for Juliana to go back and tell us that she's into personal branding, build that brand, and then we now come and give that opportunity to her. No, it passes you by and goes on to the next person. And this is why usually we hear stories or see people say that I used to be in class with this lady. She wasn't so good. She doesn't speak well. I am better. But she's grabbing all the opportunities. Why? Because this lady decided to put herself out there. Just this morning, I saw this boy that has been trending for some time now, Islamic Prince. Someone has taken him to Nigeria. Free flight. Why? It's not because he speaks so well. He doesn't speak so well. But what did he do? The audacity and the confidence to show up and then build. He's building a brand. He's telling us that, hey, I want to be an actor. I don't speak grade A English, but this is just who I am, and I'm proud of it, and I'm confident enough to put myself out there. Now, there are people who can act very well, even better than him, speak so well, but they are hiding in their corner, expecting who to fish them out. It doesn't work that way. So, personal branding is really important. Apart from all the things that I have mentioned, it builds credibility. People trust you with their brands. People want to collaborate with you. People want to work with you. That is why I said you need to be intentional because if you are intentional about building a personal brand, then you will know what to put out there and what not to. Because let's assume Jobberman was looking for females as influencers for the She Can campaign. They search Mariam Majid. Mariam Majid is always on Instagram or X insulting people under their comments. Do you think they'll come for me? No, and most people who do this are not really intentional about carving a reputation for themselves. So they just misbehave on the internet. And these things always come back to haunt you. If you want to build a personal brand, all these things matter. I will not go and be under someone's post and be insulting them because I know brands look me up. I know I said I go in for opportunities. I know people would want to collaborate with me and then they will search for me. And so it's always important for us to take note of all of this. Now, the global reach. When you build a personal brand, now it's easy because on the internet, it doesn't matter where you are. You can be in Ghana and make a post. Someone in Canada is seeing you, someone in India is seeing you, someone in the UK is seeing you, and you get that global reach. It's not just limited to Ghana or Nigeria or wherever you are, but it allows you to connect beyond borders. That is how come Islamic Prince is in Nigeria, because people in Nigeria were seeing his content and they actually appreciated it. So these are just some of the few things that I have to say about personal branding. But I would encourage everyone here to be intentional about building a personal brand so that you can control the narrative. You can tell us that, hey, I'm a public speaker, and then we would call you a public speaker. We would appreciate you for that. And one important thing I almost left out is personal branding is not just limited to the online space. So if you are building online, make sure it reflects. When we call you to work, let us be able to say that, oh, Mariam says she's into public speaking. I can tell that she's into public speaking. This lady says she's a makeup artist. Of course, I can tell that she's into makeup. She's doing well. Don't preach A online, and when we meet you in person, it's like I'm even confused because this lady claims to be a public speaker online, but when we see her or when we ask her to come and speak, then she's fumbling or she doesn't have control over the topic. That is you not being authentic. So authenticity is really key in building a personal brand. Thank you, Elikem.
Thank you. Insightful points. I like the one you said about carving the narrative, going ahead for the narrative and preparing yourself for opportunity. So that will bring me to Richard. Richard, you are a male advocate. It's not a mistake that you are here on this conversation because you advocate for women opportunities. Now, why do you think it's so vital for us to push the inclusivity agenda? Why is it important to push that conversation about women empowerment and equitable opportunities for women?
Yeah. Okay. First of all, I want to register this. My advocacy is not really just a campaign; it's more of a conviction. And this is rooted in what I've witnessed across communities, institutions, systems. Okay, when a woman is actually empowered, societies shift. Yeah. So I've been in development spaces and I've seen women lead businesses, cooperatives, manage health interventions, right? Shaped youth employment strategies, and they were very exceptional, right? This is what I'm just saying right now is not just a hearsay. These are real evidence backed by numbers, okay, pictures and videos out there. When women have the opportunity, they actually transform, right? So my consistent advocacy is because I've witnessed the cost of exclusion before. When women are not placed in, women are not involved, it pays, we have to pay very high costs for that, right? You know, in even recent times, you can see Ghana as a country. Look at our political space, look at our leadership spaces. We barely have about 15% of female representation in our government. Okay, as we speak right now. Now, this is how I describe females, women. People who are able to conceive, people who are able to carry life, people who are born with the right intellect, right? So it means every strategy, this, let me say, a woman is an inborn being with all the advantages, with all the great things, right? Now, sidelining women, as I mentioned, per data, shows that we are either cycling or circling around the same spot if we are not moving forward. Now, at even organizational level, there is this McKinsey's Diversity Wins Report, 2024, and it found out that where women lead executive teams, the team, that organization is able to move at least 25% higher and perform better than a non-inclusive or less inclusive organizations. All right, so you realize that non-inclusion is not a gap. For me, I feel it is a systems failure when we don't look that direction, right? See, and even beyond institutions, let's see, women or females, right? Inclusivity is actually vital to the very fabric of our society. It's really woven into it. Now, why do I say that? You see, if you look at from family setting to even community setting, women shape their values, right? They shape values. They are resilient, okay? And generational, if you look at it, upon generations, their progress is something we cannot really talk about, right? It is already written in the society, but this is something that we hardly talk about. So really inclusive families, okay, where women are allowed to partake in household decisions, okay, in inclusive families raise inclusive citizens, right? And when women actually partake in household decisions, they raise daughters, okay, who understand when to lead and how to lead, and also sons who understands equity, right? So, and not just equity, it also helps building a respectful society, a society where there is free bias, a society that there is no prejudices against women, and development moves on as we go as we move on. Sorry. So for me, I prioritize opportunities for women, right, irrespective of their chosen career path, because equity is universal. Okay, so a woman can choose to do whatever she wants to be, a farmer, a creative, let me say, a social media influencer, like my co-panelists here, right? Or even a policy maker. The most important thing is that the right opportunity should be provided. The support should be there. So I was very happy when Juliana mentioned support systems, but she kept banging it. I wrote it down because this is what we need. I chose to create myself as one of those people who can really provide a support system for women to thrive. Because once they partake in this, things begin to change, right? Also, there are a lot of organizations now. There are a lot of movements. There are a lot of initiatives. For instance, what we do at Mastercard Foundation, all around, not just a happy program. Every Mastercard Foundation program aims at least bring in 70% women decision, and this is totally autonomy. However, let's look at something. Even globally, okay, beyond the Beijing conference, there are women we have seen who actually stood up and they've made changes. Gloria Arroyo was in Philippines, and she was the first ever female that Philippines ever had, and it worked for them. You see, coming down to Africa, from the time we had issues like, or diseases break out like Ebola, COVID, and any other thing, we see women play a lot of roles. For instance, when we say healthcare workers, who are they? That finger always points to nurses, and the gender that when we say nurses, once we say somebody is a nurse, in fact, if the person assuming is not seen, we will always align that to a female. So this is the roles. They are not minor roles. If you look at it, they are major roles that they play. So imagine if on the background they're able to highlight this. What happens if they are actually leading, partaking in key decisions, right? This could actually naturally lead to a global turnaround, right? So for me, my role as a male champion, I feel inclusion should not be a performance. It should be structural, right? It's something that we should actually embed both at institutional level, organizational level, within the society, and everywhere we find ourselves, right? We should be able to intentionally rationalize that when we hire, okay, when we are hiring, or when we fund, when we try to promote, and when we try to protect, right? This is what we should have as far as it reflects within, or it goes down within our own selves as human beings, right? Because naturally, when women rise, systems automatically evolve. And when systems evolve, I believe we are all moving forward. So I think this is how I will end this for now. Yeah.
Great input, Richard. I especially love the part where you said equity is universal and we should create more opportunities for women to venture into different fields that interest them and also create that kind of support. So that'll bring me back to Juliana. Juliana, for somebody who works in corporate, you have some kind of experience. So I just want you to give one practical advice to help, let's say, a young person out there who is working in corporate but has a strong pull to do a non-traditional career, maybe art, influencing, content creation. What one practical advice would you give to them?
That's a very good question. So I'll use myself as an example to, give that practicality. I'm a project officer, and before I decided to post my first video online, the first thing I did was to check the rules of my organization. What are the etiquettes? What are the do's and don'ts concerning social media? So once I learned that, I knew I had the green light to proceed. And so, for someone who is an artist or who wants to be an artist, who wants to be a salon owner, who wants to be an influencer, you need to understand the game of where you currently work, just to be able to determine if your employer would allow you to do the non-conventional career alongside what you do, because there are a lot of organizations and companies here in Ghana especially who don't allow their employees to pursue other career paths. So you have to learn that and make it an assignment for yourself. For some organizations, they've clearly stated in their workbooks and, highlighted some of the things that are allowable and things that are not allowable. So learn that step, and once you know you have the green light to proceed, then you have the green light to proceed. And then also, assuming you have the green light to proceed, you can go ahead and then pursue that goal, pursue that non-conventional career. Then you need to learn the game of the career itself, because assuming you want to be a content creator, you easily pick a phone and then you start recording. Yes, that is excellent, because the first step to pursuing something is the action, right? The boldness to actually pursue it. But as in today, in this dispensation, you have no excuse not to know. You have no excuse not to have certain information at your fingertips. And thankfully, even for the virtue, or by virtue of this meeting, you are getting access to information. And at the end of the day, you're going to be fed very well to know your next step. And so information is available, so many resources are available. Google is there, YouTube is there, Instagram is there, TikTok is there, X is there. Make sure that you are getting every information and learning alongside. then you also need to put it at the back of your head that you cannot, or it's okay not to know everything at once. Like I said, the most important thing is for you to have the desire to start anyway. And so you may not even know how to do proper editing. You may not even know how to do you may not know how to talk properly. And just like Mariam made an example of Islamic prince, he doesn't speak grade A English. He doesn't have the nicest and clearest quality of videos, but then he still did it anyway. And I'm sure that as he has gotten the chance to be with other skit makers, other actors in Nigeria, he is, by the time he comes back to Ghana, he would have had tons and wealth of knowledge in his kotoje, right? And so please, so please make sure that you are learning the game and you are learning it as you are going. It's okay not to know everything. Definitely, just like Susan, thank you for emphasizing that. And then also, it's also okay to have it at the back of your mind that pursuing a non-conventional career is absolutely fine. Every career is important, no matter how people underestimate the said career. So many people underestimate content creation. And recently, not even recently, just some few days ago, I saw a lot of trending videos talking about how influencers may be faking their lives because of the things they probably purchase or their lifestyle they are putting out there. But I take it from someone who doesn't flaunt, things on social media, someone who doesn't even mention prices of things that I buy. But let me tell you that the things that are not given the much respect, or the things that people underestimate, most of the times is what are actually beneficial, or let me say impactful. And be proud of the career path you choose. And you are the only person who sees the vision. One of my elders will say, Charlie, I'm not seeing the vision. Oh, I'm not seeing the vision. You are the only person who sees the vision. Sometimes your partner may not even see the vision. Your mother may not see the vision. Your friend may not see the vision. But you have this strong conviction to pursue. And that is the grounding you need to hold on to and make it an anchor, so that when the storms blow, you still have a reason and a cause to wake up every day to pursue that thing. And until you reach it, you do not stop. So be proud of it, be your own hype man, and pursue it like never before. And once you have all these details in your mind, I tell you that even though there would be discouragement, there would be demotivation sometimes, which is normal anyway for a human being like you and I, you don't stop, right? You do not stop. So acknowledge that it's okay to not know everything. Learn the rules of the game, both what you are pursuing now and what you want to pursue. And then be proud of the career path you have chosen. Eventually, who knows, it may become your ultimate number one career path you are solely pursuing. So don't fret. Don't fret. Make sure you are pursuing it. You are the only one who sees the vision, and let nothing stop you.
That's great. So, for somebody who understands the game, has gotten enough information, consumed content upon content, Mariam, I just want to come to you. What practical steps can that person take to get out of that zone of putting themselves out there? It's one thing to say put yourself out there, but what should we actually do when we want to put ourselves out there?
Thank you. Thank you for the question. I really loved that Miss Juliana made mention of the fact that it is really okay to not know it all, because we all started from somewhere. We didn't know it all, and we still don't know it all. In fact, we can never know it all. And so the point I'm trying to make is, most people are waiting for perfection, but you can never be perfect. They are scared of what people will say. The very first time I put a camera before me to record, now today when I go back and look at that video, I'm like, oh my God, what is this? But that video has the highest views on my TikTok. You see, this was when I was scared. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to go about it. It was my first time. But I just said, let me try. And that was actually the first time I posted on TikTok. and that video has a lot of views. And so my question to people is, what's the worst that could happen? I always ask. People will make fun of you, fine. They will laugh at you. They would say all sorts of things, but only you know the vision. And you need to keep going till you get to your destination, till you achieve what you're looking for. Because you can't hide in your room because you are scared to show up, thinking that people will make fun of you, asking yourself, what will people say? Most of us are scared of being judged. But recently I listened to a speaker and then she said one of the biggest price you can pay for success is embarrassment. At a point, you would be embarrassed. People will make fun of you. You would stand on the stage to speak as a public speaker and maybe you are scared, you are shivering. You make a mistake, you don't know what to say. But these things should not stop you from showing up. So I believe that one thing that makes people scared to show up is mindsets. They haven't been able to move from having a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Because if you have a growth mindset, you understand that all these things are just a learning curve. Everyone you see today and admire, they've been there. And then because of the mistakes, the failures, the struggles, it becomes a solid foundation for them to actually learn and do better. Like this boy I'm talking about, Islamic Prince. Very soon we'll see him with very good video qualities, speaking better, because he started from somewhere. And people actually appreciate you so much when they have seen where you're coming from. The struggles, those times when you couldn't speak so well, when you were scared of public speaking, now you're all over speaking to people. They appreciate it. So please start sharing your voice. I believe that everyone has something to share. I always tell people that God doesn't have favorites. God loves all of us equally. And there's something that you can do. So why are you sleeping on yourself? You don't expect Miss Juliana to say, "Oh, Mariam, because you're my friend, I'm into content. Come and do content by force." She can only help you if you are also willing to show up. She can't catch you and put you on the seat and put a camera in your face and say you should speak. She would only do that if she knows that you are ready to show up. Maybe you just do not know how to go about it and you need someone to just hold your hand and support you. That is when she will do it. And you also need to be clear on what you want to do. Even when you are not clear, you can start from somewhere. I just want people to understand that sitting in your bedroom in your corner, feeling shy, not being confident, being scared of what people will say, it will not take you anywhere. You need that audacity to show up and do the hard things. The things that you are scared of, do it. Don't be scared of judgment. And sometimes you can even start with writing. I started building my personal brand on LinkedIn, never showing my face because at the time LinkedIn was it was just audio events. So even when I'm invited to speak, it's just my voice. I'm writing. It took about a year before I started doing this video content creation thing, but I had to start from somewhere, building the credibility from somewhere. You don't have to just. We are not saying immediately you start put a camera before you and start speaking. No, but even with the consistency people would start to appreciate what you are doing. You are building the credibility, and with time, the opportunities will come. And another thing you can do is to try and engage with people. There's always an opportunity to learn. Like I said, that I am going to ask Miss Juliana for some tips because why not? You are always around people who are growing. You are always around people who know something that you do not know. This is one thing I do, and it's a hack that I tell my mentees a lot that anytime you meet someone, learn something from them because the person knows something that you do not know. And so imagine learning just one thing from everyone you meet every day. By the time the year ends, you will be full of knowledge. And one thing that I know builds confidence is knowledge. When you know you are knowledgeable, you have control over certain topics or even almost every topic. You know your stuff. That alone builds your confidence. You know that, oh, even if I'm not prepared and they call me to come and speak about personal branding, I'm so confident because I know I am going to speak properly. I know that I know my stuff. So being knowledgeable and engaging with people is very important. Joining relevant conversations. The people you surround yourself with is really important. At this age, I tell people that if you are still with friends who are discussing unnecessary things, excuse me to say, boyfriend, girlfriend, who is driving what car, who is wearing a bone street, then you are not in the right circle. If your friends are not talking about how to grow, what kind of investment to use their money for, what courses are we taking next year, those kind of things, then please move away and find a different circle because they're not going to help you grow in any way. Honestly, you need people who are growing. And so when you look within your circle, everyone is doing well. That one alone is a wake up call. It's a push for you to want to wake up and do something really important with your life. So the environment is important, and then you need to make sure you network intentionally. When you attend events, please, it also helps in building your confidence. Don't sit in your corner saying that, hey, because Miss Juliana is a celebrity, what if I go and talk to her and she ignores you? What if she doesn't ignore you? But even if she ignores you, will you die? You will not die. You've tried. Yeah, you've tried. Maybe she just doesn't want to speak to you, or even that day she's not in a good mood. But no is the worst that can happen. You will not die if someone is not willing to speak to you or network with you. And for the young people, I always say that you should try and volunteer. Volunteering also helps put you out there. Even if you as an individual is scared to come out and do things for yourself, because you are volunteering for certain people, they always want to also give you that helping hand. They will put you on. They will give you opportunities that they think you can, like you are fit for. Collaborating on projects that align with your values and your interests is also very important. So, for example, because I'm big on women empowerment, if I see anyone who is working on a project that has to do with women empowerment, I can easily go to the person and say, hey, I want to collaborate, even if I would be a speaker, just because it's something that aligns with my interest. I want to be on it. I want to support. It's not even about me going to speak to get paid. Even if it's a free thing, I will still come and show my support. And you see, there's one thing that Apostle Selman always says, that if you want to be a person of impact, give more than you take. Most of us, when we think networking or relationships, we are thinking of what we can get from people, but we should think of what we can also give to people. What are you doing? How are you impacting people's lives? It's not always about taking, but you should also learn to give, because the more you give, the more people would even want to work with you. They want to be around you. They want to surround themselves with you because they know that you are always ready to make that impact and help people in any way that you can. Now,
That's great.
the last one.
Yeah.
Storytelling is storytelling is one thing that I always speak about because everyone has a story. And when I say storytelling, people ask me, doesn't mean I have to say everything. No. You can package your story in a way that you are only sharing the relevant information. We are not asking you to overshare, but just share the parts that resonate with the audience, your audience, the people that you are speaking to, or the people you are targeting. Because one thing that helped me really grow on social media was when I came out to share the story of how I failed Wasi, and I had to write an update and I failed again. And then I didn't even know what to do with my life. I had to cut my hair again, look like a small girl, go back to a senior high school to rewrite Wasi again. And then I have two master's degrees. Now, there are a lot of young people in Ghana going through this. And when they feel the wasi, family makes you feel like you are useless, you've disgraced the family. Most of your classmates and your colleagues are in the uni. You are still sitting at home. You don't know what to do with your life. And it's depressing because at that time I was suicidal. Because in my family, when you fail, you disgrace your parents, because it's not like in my family, everyone is level headed. So only you've gone to fail. That is like a big disgrace. I was suicidal. But if I had committed that suicide, would I be here speaking to people today? So coming out to share that story alone was inspiring to a lot of young girls and even men. And these are some of the things that help you grow, because that story that you are sharing Believe me, people are going through it. They just do not know how to navigate. And so if you've gone through something and you've been able to pick yourself up, you've learned from the lessons and experiences and you are doing better, why not share so that you can also inspire people? You can be the one that people come to and say, "Oh, Miss Juliana, this thing that you spoke about, I also experienced it 2 years ago." But listening to your story makes me know that that mistake is not the end of the world, or failure is just an opportunity for me to learn and do better. Failing Wasi doesn't mean that is the end of the road for me. So these are just a few tips that I would like to share. Thank you very much for the question.
Thank you. The conversation has gotten so insightful. I'm learning so many things. Now, we've spoken about an unconventional career path. We've really gone deep into that. But there are some young people out there who still desire the 9 to 5. They still want to climb up the corporate ladder. So this will be to you, Richard. What green flags should young people, especially women, look out for when seeking 9 to 5 or corporate employers? What should we be looking out for? Hi, Richard.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Ellie, can you hear me?
loud and clear.
Thank you. All right. So I was saying, first of all, I want to say inclusive workplace or workplaces don't just recruit or hire people. They rather invest in them, right? They put in all the best resources available to push women, to promote them, to ensure that wherever they are, they've gotten there safely and they are performing at the best or the best optimal at their best optimal performances. Yeah. Now, so beyond that, what the green flags, what green flags we should or anyone should watch out for as a female? First of all, is being sensational and try to have a feeling about if something called equity really exists within the edifice or within the four corners of that organization that you plan or you are working in or you plan to work in, right? Um, so I want to say, for first of all, green flag number one is there should be a representation with influence, right? This is a situation where it's not like, okay, women are just hired, they are just brought in, they are present in the office just like that. Is that all? No, but they should rather be positioned to shape decisions. They should be at every step of decision making and decision taking, right? So this is one of the things that anyone working in an inclusive workplace should watch out for. That's one of the green flags. Now, another green flag is when there is talent development and it is intentional, right? Every now and then you could hear probably a HR of your organization, of that organization saying, okay, there are sponsorship courses, there are opportunities for further learning, right? There are assignments that one is given irrespective of that person's position, but it's okay, you are given this, go and carry this out within a certain period of time and come back, right? And there is a clear creation of leadership pipelines, right? That reflects gender equity, okay? But again, it should be all inclusive. As I mentioned earlier, it's not about where you are or what you are doing. It's about letting that person also have a feel of what is done up there. Then a person could be able to either go and come, and this person becomes guided as what is done and how best to do it. Another thing we could also think about is, let me say, intersectional inclusion. Okay, we should first find out if there are policies that are responsive to women with disabilities. One of my passionate areas, it's people with disabilities, refugees, or displaced people? Are there policies responsive to these people's situation? Are there policies responsive to young mothers? Okay, and what about other marginalized persons or marginalized communities? Are there responsive policies created by these organizations? This is one of the green flags that should be watched out for. Now, another one too is I want to say this, like flexibility with dignity. Okay, so are there flexible is there flexibility in the kind of work that or in the work environment that the woman can well express, can well fit into, right? Can well tailor or weave herself into, right? For instance, something like remote work. We all know remote work is something that really supports women a lot, especially those who have mothers. Those who are mothers. Okay, remote work can sometimes help them, or probably within their maternity moment, or within any time that they have to do something that has got to do, that they can do, right? Remote work can support them. What about things like parental leaves? Okay, so once she has put to bed, are there policies that she can take leave to a certain period of time? Okay, what about wellness policies? Are there moments where you can take a leave out just to go and de-stress? Is there a policy that is ready to say, okay, women in this organization are likely to or have the incentives to travel to a place like Swakope to enjoy the spa, or have something, a nice weekend out, something to make them enjoy, right? So you see, once these things also exist, they are very, if you look at it, it is not like it's undoable, but they are very strategic that can be well built into the systems. This is a clear green flag that there's a lot of dignity are being respected, right? Then another one is the enabling the right visibility. Okay, when women contribute, when women add up to their quota, when women in the organization actually deliver, even if it is an inch or a step of an inch, are they celebrated publicly? Are they able to recognize them, right? Are they awarded or credited for innovations, for great ideas? Now, it is not necessarily maybe they being innovative, but even when they are being creative, because naturally, the idea will be born from the mind and it then translates into something materialistic. So even if the person only gives us an idea and it's been implemented, I feel a workplace that enables the woman to be celebrated, to be recognized publicly, should be a place that we should say exists with green flags, right? And what about accountability? Okay, are leaders held accountable for inclusion metrics? Are there organizational policies that have written down policies that says we need a certain percentage of women in this organization. We need a certain percentage of women representation on this committee. These are some of the questions. These are some of the things that enable one to say, yes, this is an all-inclusive and it's a place he or she can really, really work and enjoy herself. And are there DEI? What are the DEI policies available? Are diversity, equity, and inclusion? Are there policies? And if there are policies, are they embedded in performance reviews? Right? Even sometimes funding decisions. An organization going for funding, right? Sometimes would need to say, we are putting a woman forward to negotiate on our behalf. This could become more of the funder's decision. So organization that is very intentional, let me borrow Marianne's word, organizations that are very intentional in doing this, okay, they are places that have a check mark, the right green flag for people to work. Okay, so not to be biased, I've seen a lot of these green flags in my own Jobberman Ghana. Shout out to our CEO and MD, Hilda, and our able HR. If anyone looks at Jobberman Ghana, okay, from every single level of leadership, the leads, you see a lot of female representation, right? And they co-work with males, and decisions are taken, things are done, and all these women are celebrated. Okay, they are celebrated openly. Their names are mentioned. This actually makes them feel valued. It makes their voices feel loud. Okay, and at the end of the day, it's about their advancement. Okay, and this is non-negotiable. I think what we want to see in the end is the workplace should have a value for transformation, for growth. Okay, very, very intentional. Yeah, I think that's what I can say about this. Thank you.
That's fantastic, Richard. I love the part where you mentioned inclusive environments. Now, we know that for any relationship to work properly, there has to be some form of two-way commitment. Now, as women, what can we do to position ourselves to advocate for more inclusion, to prepare ourselves for opportunities or for organizations that prioritize DEI? What can we do?
Early, your line is breaking a bit. Can you hear me?
Okay, let me take the question again.
Yes, please.
Great. So you mentioned that organizations should prioritize inclusivity. Now, I
Yes.
just wanted to find out, what can we as women do to also prepare for that inclusivity? Because for every relationship to work, it has to be some sort of two-way commitment. We also have to bring something to the table. So what can we do to prepare ourselves for these opportunities?
Okay. All right. So, in tackling this, we may want to look at this in two ways. One, if the woman is looking for, excuse me, I wanted to say young female, which I'm very used to, and I'm being forced to use woman. There's because of happy, I'm always saying young females. So please forgive me. All right. So if the woman is first of all looking at one, entering into a job, entering into a new role, that is one, and also when already she is within the job or already looking for jobs. So let's see, how do women advocate, right, during job search? You see, for some of these discussions between Juliana and also
Mariam.
you see, Mariam, most, you see, the branding thing we are talking about is no more of social again. You see, sometimes you brand yourself on important social media handles like LinkedIn just by making yourself known, advocating for women inclusion and leadership. You could be someone who is, let me say, jobless. You don't have any job, you are unemployed. However, you belong to a platform of this nature. This is a level that you can advocate, okay, and make your voice heard as far as it's concerned, right? Also, even when you get to a stage where you meet employers, maybe during an interview or something, or an interview, or probably the engagement stage, you may want to first find out from them, how does the organization you are coming in to support women's advancement? This is a clear advocacy. This is a loud voice for someone to understand you are someone who actually supports women's advancement. Okay, and also you can also ask if they can share examples of inclusive leadership in action. Any example, maybe being past or present staff or anything at all you could talk about. This is also a clear voice for advocacy, right? But the whole thing is that you have to actually leverage on women-led networks, okay, and position yourself and position yourself in the right experiences in order to be very strategic, okay. So advocacy sometimes may seem like a lonely voice, but you can also leverage on networks. There are networks everywhere, okay, around on social media. I know some examples like Camfed, right? Let your voice be heard. When somebody posts something, sometimes your comment you make there shows that you are advocating, your voice is out there, right? However, let's look at something. And in a position where you are now seeking a new role, right? You just got hired and you want to learn to advocate. One of the things I believe you should be doing is, first of all, you start by listening, paying attention to the organizational structures. You want to first understand the culture, right? You want to understand the culture, and also you want to actually identify the various leverage points. Are there committees? Are there projects? Are there peer networks? Which of these do you think you can belong to in order to make your voice heard, in order to amplify your voice? Okay. Beyond that, it's also very, very important to also build strategic alliances, right? So inclusion is actually sustained when you have the right allies, people who are like-minded, people who think together, okay, people who think like you, okay. When you want to advocate to every young woman out there, this advice I'm trying to give you is, when you want to advocate, you actually speak with evidence. Let it be known that something exists and you are talking about it, okay. And once you prove that evidence, be empathetic towards it. Let whoever is listening, whoever is seeing, whoever is feeling the aura around you, have that empathy that you are really sending a message across, right? And you yourself, if people necessarily do not speak out, but in everything at all that you do, your behavior, your steps, whatever you do, it should be able to emulate a right inclusive activity. You should be able to credit your fellow females when they do the right thing, right? When you happen to be leading groups, or you happen to be leading a meeting or something, you invite diverse voices, okay? You share the challenges, you share all the prospects, and all the biases. Let it all be together. It's something that you should do in a very respectful manner. Now, another thing is where I think advocacy is somehow weak, but we could actually leverage or do it more, is when you achieve something or when there's an achievement, no matter how little. I believe it should be celebrated. Advocacy just means I've been part of it. I know it. I understand it. And I think it should be done this way. For every single thing that is done, it should be celebrated. You should be able to celebrate your own wins, celebrate the wins of others. You are allowing them to come in. Okay? In every single stage, whether you are being a mentor or you are a mentee, every single thing you do should come out with its corresponding stories. Maria mentioned about storytelling. You need to tell the stories. You need to let people know about it. You need to let the walls feel the journey where you started from, how you were able to overcome everything, and how you won. Okay, so you use all these things to build a brand for yourself. So I'm back to I'm back to building brands. Okay, so I'm back to building brands. So you build brands for yourself. You are a known person, you are an advocate. Juliana is an advocate. Mariam is an advocate, right? That is how they got to be known, right? So I feel if young women are able to advocate with clarity and courage, they don't just open doors for themselves. I believe they're also building maybe verandas or corridors, right, for others to walk through. Because it needs to start with somebody. Other than that, the status quo, which is the old version of doing this, will remain, and you will never see a change. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Richard. That was very packed. And just to add up to what you said, we also need to take advantage of opportunities. That is why we are currently running the She Can campaign under the Happy program. Now, if you've not heard of the She Can campaign, then you are missing out because we've been running it for some weeks now. It's all about training women aged 18 to 35 in soft skills, customer service skills, and entrepreneurship skills for free. There's no cost. It's virtual. You take the class, you get a certificate, you enhance your CV and your prospects for acquiring a job. Now, it also doesn't end there. We offer job placement support. Remember what we said about Jobberman? We connect job seekers to verified employers. So we are staying true to that word. Now we'll take some questions from our audience. And the very first one is from Diana Nati. And I think this is addressed to Juliana. So Juliana, earlier on, you mentioned how having a support system has been very beneficial for you. Now, Diana is asking for someone who doesn't have that support system, how do we navigate it? If you can just give us one tip.
That's actually a good one. One thing I learned in life growing up is that you are on your own. Nobody is coming to save you. So it's a privilege and it's such a big blessing to have support systems around you. But if that is not available, once you know that this thing is what you want to achieve, let nothing stop you and remove as much as possible. I know sometimes, we were created naturally to depend on each other, to have that natural companionships, whether from our partners or from our work colleagues or from our friends. If that is not available, please remove any sentiments at all that, oh, I deserve this, I deserve that, I deserve that. Yes, you do. But know this and know peace. Nobody is coming to save you. And even with the support system, if you don't get up and push, the support system would basically do nothing to support you. And just like Miss Marianne said, everything is bent on you to do it. Nobody would push you to do it until you decide to do it. That is when people would then find the need to actually support you. But as the support is not there, you alone are the one who would craft your own path, follow it thoroughly, and make sure nothing is stopping you. It's hard, yes, but then it is possible. There's nothing which is impossible on this earth. It is hard, but it is possible. Carve your own path, follow through, learn and unlearn, and embrace every struggle and challenges. That is the only way you can build resilience. So please carve your own path. And I believe that as you grow, people will definitely come on board because people would start seeing what you build and then they are immediately interested. That's human beings for you. They are immediately interested. And along the line, you're going to find people who are willing to support you naturally without taking a dime from you. I have been blessed to meet mutuals, right? Content creation, other content creators and influencers who are willing to share tips with me every point I need them. As much as I think I know what I know now, I still learn and I still need certain tips along the way. And people are coming naturally. And they didn't come immediately when I started content creation. It's because of the evidence or portfolio I have built in the past. So if you recognize that, yes, the support is not there now, you are definitely going to meet people who will be willing to support you when you have built it from the ground up or when you have enough evidence to prove yourself that, yes, this is my journey, this is how I started, and this is how I am going, and people are seeing it, and naturally people are willing to support you. So please have it at the back of your mind that you are on your own, right? You are on your own, and you are carving your own path because you alone see the vision. So I really wish you all the best, and I pray that you meet helpers along your way, because we all do need it at a point in our lives.
Yes, we all do need helpers, but when they don't come, we'll carve our path and just forge through. So the next one we directed at Mariam. This is from Susan. Is it okay to not know everything all at once?
Oh, yes, Susan. It is really okay. It's normal. You just need to understand this, that you do not know it all, so that you are open to learning. If you accept that you can never know it all, that is when you are able to learn from people, see people doing things you admire. You are open enough to tell them that, oh, I admire what you do. I want to learn from you. And apart from learning from people, you can also learn yourself. YouTube on various topics that you can watch and learn. There are a lot of educational podcasts that you can listen to. So information is everywhere. And you are always open to, if like, you are always open to learn and ask questions. Just keep seeking knowledge from people. And when it comes to learning, I always tell people that please, age is just a number. Because some of the people that I have really learned from, especially when I was building my personal brand, were all younger than me. But I didn't sit down and do this Ghanaian mentality thing, saying that, oh, this person is a small girl and oh, no. The people that helped me when I was building this brand were all younger than me, but I had to humble myself to learn from them because I knew what I was looking for. So please be open to learning no matter who you're learning from. Once you know the person is knowledgeable, be ready and willing to learn from them. And that is just how you grow. Yeah.
Well said, Mariam. Be willing and ready to learn. Now, this question is from Betty, and she says, my question is to Juliana. How does she manage time, especially when she has conflicting schedules between personal content creation and her job?
Thank you. That's a good one. So I have a book for content creation, and I have a book for my job, and I have a planner. So on my calendar, and I can literally show you how my calendar looks like right now. I hope you close your eyes small so that you don't see the details. So these, you can see some blue, orange, yellow. I don't know whether it's clear on the screen, but then, like I said, time management is something that I needed to master. And getting my book for content creation separately and book for my work separately means that I know clearly what I need to submit for work, what I need to work on for work, the timelines, the context I need to develop, whatever thing that requires of me to perform at 100% for work. Everything is in the book and I go by it. Yes, you can call me a traditional woman. I don't do tablets. I write everything. That is how I learn. And then for content creation, so I have my book as well. So I keep it and then I time everything on my calendar so I know when I'm shooting. Because mind you, when I was speaking, when we started and I was speaking, I talked about identifying my strengths, right? So I do film on weekends most of the times, from Friday evening through to Saturday morning. Sometimes I do like 3 days back to back. I do rest and eat, by the way, but then it's back to back. It's an intensive schedule during the weekend. So I have all those available. I know when I'm speaking to brands. I know when I'm calling brands, and I know when I'm resuming work. I know when I'm reporting for work. So I have all those information just because I identified my strengths. I knew that I'll be able to do all these, especially when it comes to filming, which is the heavy part of it, during weekends. And then I time it, I schedule it on my calendar according to what exactly I am shooting about. And then even the script development. So I do all those before I sit down to film, so that when once I sit in my seat now, I know that okay, this is number one, this is number two. And aside my calendar schedule, I also do make use of my notes a lot. So when you open my phone notes, there's a lot of information arranged in numbers, arranged in points, where I'm taking everything off as I go. So these are the things or resources I use to, be able to balance all these things out. And I didn't arrive at this in just a day. Like we've all been saying one thing, that I didn't know when I started. I only learned on the job and learned from others. And this year, I started a consultation where I started guiding people, especially professionals, on how to manage their jobs and then also be content creators if they want. And we ended up having a 2-3 days class in May, right? So those classes were, or let me say, that class was organized, and we had quite a significant number of professionals joining in, wanting to learn how to balance, and then also making use of available resources. And I'm glad to share the pre-recorded sessions at a very, discounted price for the sake of those who are here, if you are interested. But basically, that's all I do, managing my time, scheduling them, and making sure that nothing is stopping me from them, even though I do get lazy sometimes. But the goal is the goal, the vision is the
Yeah,
vision, and nothing stops me.
exactly. Now we'll take our last
Sorry,
question, which is addressed to Richard. Okay, Richard, sure.
yes,
Go
I
ahead.
want to just add something to what
Yes.
Juliana said. So, stemming from what I'm just seeing in the comments, so to our audience, they should understand that we all belong to a different or distinct personas, right? So, who Juliana is herself. These are her natural tips. These are universal tips. However, everything also boils down on the person's own personality, to whom it may concern. Discipline, I think, Juliana, that's exactly what we are trying to hit at. It's just about discipline. Schedules are obeyed just because we want to be disciplined at it. But this can be a reform. Everybody can remake it by just picking her general tips and fine-tuning it to their personality, to their situations, because maybe not everybody could be a content creator, but you can find yourself doing double jobs at the same time. At the end of the day, it's about work-life balance with no stress. That's what I want to add. Thank you.
Fantastic. So, Richard, still on you. There's just one more
Hi.
question for you. So,
Okay.
how can male colleagues become allies for women's success? Because we've spoken about thriving in a corporate job, and we've also
Okay.
spoken about non-conventional jobs. How do we
Mhm.
see men helping women to thrive, whichever choice they choose? How do we see men supporting women?
All right. Thank you for that. So to my fellow male leaders, or maybe not leaders or colleagues, I think one thing I would want to advise is it should be more of a practice. It should be a daily practice, understanding understanding women and understanding only one thing, ceteris paribus, that women should be given equal opportunities to partake in that, to lead that, to also take the decisions. Okay, so it actually means deeply listening, okay, to challenges out there, and also challenging your own biases. Because I know as it exists here right now, there are many males that may be thinking this could not be done by a woman. But if we can sit and say, no, she can. Yes, she can do it. We are challenging our own biases, therefore paving the way for them, right? If we want to become allies, another advice I will give is we should learn to step aside, okay, when needed, not like step aside, but step aside when needed, and learn to amplify the voices of women. Okay, we must learn to also dismantle the various barriers that in actual fact that were never built. but because of how society groomed us, from wherever we have been learning our books, from where we were born from, and a whole lot of stuff, we just have to break that barrier, right? And sometimes it just means mentoring. We can mentor without ego. Okay, I will say, all right, maybe Amma, come today, come and sit here. This is the job. This is what we are doing. Leave it for Amma to do for you, right? Sometimes it also means you sponsor without strings. So sometimes the resource, you provide resources to empower women. You should be able to do it freely. If, for instance, if Juliana needs to cast something today, cast a very big show that is going to affect lots of ladies, also empower them and also build her brand more, everybody should be ready to do it. Everyone should be ready to do it without any strings. But many a times, to my fellow males, it becomes like when I give out, I get something back. We are not helping them. Okay, and we should also advocate for women freely without certificates, without saying, "Oh, I've been advocating for women, so let somebody clap for me." No, do it freely. This should be something you should always do. Okay, naturally, and it works. Okay, so I think, but beyond that, I think being allies is just not enough, right? I also believe that we must rather move from intention to impact, right? Women can actually lead the conversation and let the women take the tag and finish it up. We can choose to co-lead together, right? Hand in hand. And mind you, the entire empowerment preaching, the equality is not about women moving aside, vanishing from the scene. It is a preaching, a sermon of coexistence. It's a sermon where we must learn to bring the women together with us. Okay, whichever we or whoever we are, wherever we find ourselves, we need to reinvent the wheels. We need to redesign the systems that can allow this to happen, right? Also, we need to, especially for male leaders, those at various positions, higher positions, I think we need to make equity an institutional practice, right? It should reflect in gender audits. When today they call a register, we should say 50 men, 50 males, 50 females. If any number will be more, they are saying 51 females, 49 males. It makes it so nice, right? It should also reflect, let's say, pay transparency. Just because she's a woman and she went for maternity leave and returned, you may think she is not equally working and her pay is different. No. While she's holding the same position as other males, no. These things are the main things that makes us push women below the table and they seem not to be visible. Okay, we go together with them, we move together, and we should always look at investing in the leadership pipelines of women, right? We should invest a lot of things. We should time, money, any other resource. We should focus on elevating the female, okay? And not just like one person, all of them. This is what can also make us partake or participate in the whole agenda and ensure that it gives us a well-enabling environment, okay? And I think we should be able to also tell the best stories or better stories, right? We should go out there and look at what women have achieved. Look at how women are influencing the society. Okay, these are well-guiding stories that can help us take the right steps. So when we sit, from where we sit, we only tell the stories of successes. Okay, Juliana Mwati was here because of her, she made this thing happen. Without her, it may not have been like that. Maria Majid was there, and because of her initiative, this happens. These are stories, right? That people listen to and say, okay, if I give opportunities, if I also lead, if I lead without ego, if I'm able to mentor, these are the various advantages that I will also reap. Okay, so I will say to every male colleague listening, please, your voice can reinforce the status quo, right? Other than that, or we just dismantle it. So let's kick out the normal way of doing things, which I refer to as the status quo, dismantle that, and let's take up new initiative. That is a future we must build. That is the understanding. Okay. So we just don't speak. Okay, we just don't need to speak for women, actually. Okay. I think we just need them to stand, we just need to stand beside them and lead them, help them together. Because when we champion equity, we actually we are actually not depleting our status. For me, I feel we are multiplying it, right? So it is good to actually champion equity and multiply ourselves and lead in the best way. Thank you.
Thank you, Murphy. That was fantastic. So we'll just take the last question. This is to Mariam. So this is from Betty, and she's asking, when you are already known for bad branding, how do you rebrand? Mariam, are you here with us? It seems Mariam has
Sorry,
connectivity.
yeah, I'm here. Please, I didn't get the question. My network
Okay,
is.
so this question is from Betty, and she's asking, when you're already known or tagged for bad branding, how do you rebrand?
Okay, so bad branding. I I rebranded. Mine wasn't a bad brand, but let me just use it as an example. So before I became this Mariam Majid that is well known and visible for so many good reasons, I was on social media. I wouldn't say I was building a brand, I was just doing my thing. Very loud on X, yes. But now, so what I'm trying to say is it is possible to rebrand and change the narrative. Yes, you'll get people who know you from the past trying to remind you sometimes of your past. People do that a lot. I don't know why they do so, but people enjoy reminding you that you used to be a nobody or you weren't the smartest in class, but today you're doing well and all. One thing you can do is to acknowledge and accept it. If someone comes to say, oh, you used to post this on social media and all, you don't trash them. Yes, it's something you used to do, but the past is the past. You can't change the past. You can't do anything about it. The only thing you can control is the now and the future, the present and the future. And so if you really want to rebrand and build that brand, just start. Forget about what anyone from your past is going to say. People would appreciate you for who you are. You are building a new brand, and that means new community. Because the people that were interested in the things that you were posting that you claim to be bad will not be the same people following you now. And even if some of them do, they would recognize the change. Just yesterday, I was speaking to a friend and we spoke about this lady, Equiapim Polo. We all saw her first. Now she's a changed person and we've accepted it. We now see her to be a Muslim. She's no longer fighting and insulting people on social media. She's totally different from like 3, 4 years ago. And we've accepted it. This is someone that I would say had a totally different branding. Now she's been able to build a different brand and we still respect her. And when anyone tries to remind her of her past, she acknowledges it. And if it's necessary to apologize, you will. Because the first step to change, I always say, is awareness. Self-awareness is important. You can only change if you identify the fact that, okay, this is who I used to be. I do not want to be this person again. I want to change. Then you've accepted your past, and then now you are trying to become a better person. You also need to define the new you. Because you claim you had a bad brand, you are trying to change. It may be difficult, but you need to be consistent with your messaging. You are defining a new character, you are creating a new persona. It's not you being fake. Anyone who refuses to grow is immature, I would say. Growth is inevitable, and so everyone grows. We all change every day. We can change our ideas, our perspectives of on certain things. So it's just normal. You have to define the new you. You get clear on the brand you want to be known for. Communicate your values, your strengths, even some of your weaknesses that are necessary. Tell your story. Write it down like a blueprint. Storytelling is very easy and interesting. It makes people follow your journey right from the onset. So it's like you are documenting your journey. You've not written a book, but in a way, people are able to read your story and follow through. Another thing you can do is to take intentional action by showing up differently. If you were known as the girl who was always insulting people on social media, let them see you doing something else. Maybe you're an advocate for climate change, you're into content creation, and even with the content creation, I know that content creators face a lot of backlash. You can post your video doing your thing, oh. Someone will come and insult you, but you don't need to respond to such comments. You get it? And so with time, people would know that, oh, this girl used to insult people on social media and oh, but now she doesn't do that. She's growing. She's building a different brand. She does not respond to negative comments. And you have to communicate openly if it's necessary. I recently saw a video of one lady. I do not really know her. I think she's a Nigerian influencer. She put a camera before her and she was actually telling people that this is who she was. Now this is who she's becoming, and she wants the internet to know that she's growing, she's learning, and she's becoming a better person every day. And so she's no longer into, I think it was lifestyle influencing, but now she's really advocating for change. I think I don't remember. I think it was women empowerment and inclusion. So you can do this because it helps create credibility, and then people respect you and it builds that honesty too. Now you have to build with associations. You see, there's this saying that we've heard growing up that if you hang around five rich men, you are likely to become the sixth. Why do people say that? One, even the perception. Even if you are poor, the fact that you are always seen with Despite and Kennedy Japan and all, some people would assume you are rich. You get it. And secondly, it's easy to learn a lot from those people if only you are ready to take action and they are also ready to give you all the hacks, you would get there. So when you associate with people who are already where you want to be, it makes it easier. You realize that when I was talking about my personal brand, I told you that I learned from people who were even younger than me. And these are people who already had very solid personal brands and were working in the spaces that I wanted to be in, branding, women empowerment, and all. And so just by associating with them alone, their reputation, that's good reputation, it wraps up on you. It's the same way if you go and associate with influencers that have bad reputation or upcoming youth how do I put it, advocates that have bad reputation, it's also going to rub off on you. And so if you even want to build a brand or rebrand, you need to be very intentional about the people you're associating with. If people start seeing me with Miss Juliana, who is a content creator, I start creating content with her. With time, there are certain things about her that people would start associating with me. It's just normal. That's human nature. And then you need to showcase growth. You share the lessons you've learned. So it comes back to storytelling. Learn to celebrate your wins. Let people know that, hey, I'm growing. These are the things that I'm doing, and it's helping me. I'm evolving as a person. Show them, like Mr. Richard spoke about, showing proof. It's really important. Let them see the progress that you've made. And then believe me, it takes time. but people would always appreciate it and then they see the transformation. You also need to learn to be consistent because rebranding, it doesn't happen overnight. You can't just wake up and say you are rebranding. So in the next 2 weeks, you want people to just accept that this is who you've become. No, it takes time. So you need to be patient. People would want to really know that, oh, Mariam says now is this person. We want to be sure that this is who she is before we even want to work with her or before we even try to associate with her. So with time, your actions would actually prove to us that yes, you are a changed person.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much, Mariam. Thank you for that. So we are just going round, just one. Each of you will just give us one practical step that any of our attendees today can take. 10 seconds maximum. Everyone gives us one practical step an attendee from this webinar can take to ensure that they build the kind of future they desire. I'll start with Juliana, we move to Mariam, then we finally take it from Richard.
Thank you so much. So, one thing that I would encourage everyone to do, you need a source. Human beings are very fragile and we are very weak. As much as we think we have all the strengths we do, we are very, very fragile. That's why we are not sure of tomorrow. And that's why you're also not sure of the next minute, what will happen. So you need a source. Personally, my source is the Holy Spirit who guides me and gives me the strength and wisdom to do everything that I need to do. And so, if you do not have a source today, I highly encourage you to tap from a source which would give you everything you need in this life to give you the peace of mind you need to work on whatever dream you are pursuing and guiding you and the wisdom to do because you need wisdom, you need peace, you need understanding, you need strength, you need a companion. And that is what I would recommend for you. The Holy Spirit, let it be your source, and you are going to find eternal peace even by the time you depart from this earth. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Juliana. Mariam, one practical step we can take today.
Honestly, I'm also going to talk about God.
Mhm.
I tell people that yes, you need to take charge of the driver's seat. But even when you're taking charge of your driver's seat, God is still the one going to guide you through that path. And so we need to take our prayer life seriously. And I believe if you do this, just include God in everything you want to do, and it's really going to work for you. The God factor is important.
Thank you, Mariam. And finally, to you, Richard.
Then I'll have to also say God and Holy Spirit combined. It's about the Holy Spirit, but
I think you can
so
diversify.
okay. I'll still borrow that because I mean that's still supremacy. Then beyond that, okay, after all the prayers and all the fasting and all the believing and the faith, I think to every young woman, I just want you to know that you are not just entering into or endeavoring anything in vacuum. I think you're actually entering into a legacy which you want to create for yourself. So just remember, you carry stories, you carry skills and strength. Okay, strength again. I'm mentioning that again, that I think this world needs. Okay, so I feel like you don't have to fret. Let me borrow that word again. Don't fret, don't shrink, don't wait, and please don't apologize. You are a woman, don't apologize. But for us, the males, please let us also know that our silence does not mean neutrality. Please, let's speak up. Okay. Our voices can actually either reinforce the status quo, dismantle or destroy it. I think it's better we make sure that the right thing remains. Let's be bold. Let's choose courage. We should choose equity. We should choose to remember that someone, okay, that actually created a space, enabling space for young women or women. So the future we are building, again, I pray from now onwards should just not be all-inclusive. It should also be very transformative. Okay, and it all starts with us, and us. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we acknowledge the God factor. We acknowledge that we have skills, there are opportunities out there, we have our stories to tell, and we can draw strength for that. So just a reminder
There's
about the
one
free
thing.
skills training.
There's one thing I would
Sure.
like to add. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, it's that everyone should be authentic in showing up. Because usually when people want to build a personal brand, they just want to copy people. Because they see Miss Mariam doing well on LinkedIn or they see Miss Juliana doing well on TikTok and Instagram. They want to copy her style. But that will not take you anywhere. So I'll talk about Islamic Prince again. You see what he came to do. He wasn't copying anyone. He's just being himself. And I am telling you, this is just the beginning for that boy. He's going to go far. So just come, show us who you are, and we are going to love and appreciate you for that. Because when you are trying to copy someone and faking, we can tell you are not being yourself. And for how long can you keep copying someone? Being yourself is much easier anyway, because you are just being you. You don't need to try so hard to show up when you are being yourself. So authenticity, it's key in building a personal brand. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mariam, for that addition. We've come to the end of our session today. I'd like to thank all our panelists for joining us. They've shared such valuable insights from how to navigate conventional career paths to unconventional pathways, to exploring content creation, to diversity and inclusion for women. It has been an amazing session. I myself have taken so much and I'll start practicing as soon as possible. I hope you also took some notes, and the next time we meet, you would have something positive to say about this webinar. Please don't forget our skills training is up under the She Can campaign. You can get free training in entrepreneurship, soft skills, and customer service for hospitality. Thank you so much. I would like you to give a round of applause to yourselves, our audience. You have been such a pleasure to host, and I hope to see you next time. My name is Eliplim Ayegbe, and I have been your host for today's session. Do have a wonderful evening.
MFR has sent out over 30 job applications. No replies, no interviews, just silence. She started questioning herself. Maybe she didn't have what it takes. Maybe she wasn't good enough. But deep down, MFR believed she could. She just needed the right support. And that's when she discovered the Happy Program, an initiative designed for women like her to learn either soft skills, customer service skills, or entrepreneurship skills for free. And it doesn't end there. The Happy Program proceeds to place women aged 18 to 35 in dignified and fulfilling jobs. And just like that, MFS story changed. She went from searching to hired. If she can, so can you. Sign up today by visiting www.jobberman.com.gh/shecan or call 027 017 6662.
The Happy Program has been, I think, one of the most useful things I have come across since I started this business. My name is Nana Majidua Badodi. I'm the owner of this restaurant, Roast and Relish. Roast and Relish is a primarily grill restaurant. Our main selling point is that we're zero seasoning cube restaurant. So we don't use cube in our food. We try to go all as natural as possible and the kind of food that you can feed your whole family. That's who we are. So the problem with this industry is that the industry does have a high turnover. There are a lot of people who come in just for a while. You're trying to make a little money to go, because some of the roles can be filled without extensive experience. So we ended up having people coming and going for short stays. And sometimes what happens is that maybe you have an event coming up you need about 4 waiters to be on floor, and then you lose 1 or 2 of your waiters. Then you have to now look for an avenue to find people to replace these roles, and it definitely was a challenge for us. So the Happy program was recommended to me by a friend. And once I got in contact with the reps from the Happy program, they were so useful to me. The Happy program has been, I think, one of the most useful things I have come across since I started this business. Like I said before, we do have a high turnover in the food and beverage industry. So whenever we do have a situation where somebody leaves us impromptu, I quickly reach out to the team over there, and sometimes within a day or days, I've got new names, people to interview. Sometimes within a day or two, I had a replacement. And also, I'll say that some of the positions that they have filled for me on a higher level have produced very excellent personnel who I've worked with for a very long time. Thank you to the team at the Happy program. You know, in Ghana, a lot of times they'll tell you something is free, but it's not really free. But really, I've had them give me so many options of people, and not even one CD has exchanged hands. So, I mean, it has been amazing. They've been efficient, and I'm truly excited about their projects.
Welcome to Jobberman Ghana. We are Ghana's leading tech-enabled career development and recruitment platform that connects qualified job seekers with verified employers. We are more than just a job platform. We are a partner in career growth and business success. Looking for a job? Call us. Filling vacant roles? Call us. Employee training and development? Call us. Workforce management? Call us. Call us on 054-290-4650 or visit jobberman.com.gh.
The Happy program has been, I think, one of the most useful things I have come across since I started this business. My name is Nana Majidua Badodi. I'm the owner of this restaurant, Roast and Relish. Roast and Relish is a primarily grill restaurant. Our main selling point is that we're a zero seasoning cube restaurant, so we don't use cube in our food. We try to go all as natural as possible, and the kind of food that you can feed your whole family. That's who we are. So the problem with this industry is that the industry does have a high turnover. There are a lot of people who come in just for a while, they're trying to make a little money to go, because some of the roles can be filled without extensive experience. So we ended up having people coming and going for short stays, and sometimes what happens is that maybe you have an event coming up, you need about 4 waiters to be on floor, and then you lose 1 or 2 of your waiters. And then you have to now look for an avenue to find people to replace these roles, and it definitely was a challenge for us. So the Happy program was recommended to me by a friend, and once I got in contact with the reps from the Happy program, they were so useful to me. The Happy program has been, I think, one of the most useful things I have come across since I started this business. Like I said before, we do have a high turnover in the food and beverage industry. So whenever we do have a situation where somebody leaves us impromptu, I quickly reach out to the team over there, And sometimes within a day or days, I've got new names, people to interview. Sometimes within a day or two, I had a replacement. And also, I'll say that some of the positions that they have filled for me on a higher level have produced very excellent personnel who I've worked with for a very long time. Thank you to the team at the Happy Program. You know, in Ghana, a lot of times they'll tell you something is free, but it's not really free. But really, I've had them give me so many options of people, and not even one city has exchanged hands. So, I mean, it has been amazing. They've been efficient, and I'm truly excited about their projects.